t-shirt.
We might as well change racing
You're
news.
gonna use that, you
Welcome to the GCN Show, brought to you by Wiggle.
This week, we've got an announcement.
A big announcement coming up very shortly. Plus, following on from last week's Ask GCN Anything, we also got what pro cyclists really do when they retire.
And bizarrely, a lot of funeral directors in there. Yeah, we do, of course, also have the best tech and the best news stories from the world of cycling.
Weird about the funeral directors thing, because that's the sort of a dying trade. This week, in the world of cycling, we learned that Aussie bike riders are hard as nails, and not just because of the spiders and the snakes
And the mullets.
and the mullets, but also because of the kangaroos.
And we also learned this week that it is possible to have a mountain bike with too much suspension.
That bike built by YouTube legend Colin Furze and of course made almost entirely out of springs.
Yeah, and we also learned this week that it is possible to do roller racing at the Tour de Suisse without falling off, unfortunately, which means that we will have to bring you this clip from 2017 again.
Anyway, enough with the pleasantries. I think it's time to make our big announcement right now. Before we do, a little bit of background to this. Things here at GCN recently have been quite stressful,
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, really busy.
Really busy and very, very hard. I mean,
Yeah, really
we've
hard.
had to spend an enormous amount of time, both of us, riding our bikes.
Riding bikes.
And if that wasn't bad enough, immediately after our bike rides, we've then had to spend an enormous amount of time talking about bikes.
Yeah,
and
talking.
it's just not sustainable.
No.
It's frankly taking its toll.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the bags under Dan's eyes. For a start, it was quite clear that we need some kind of reinforcements.
Did you order them from Wiggle?
Bog off.
Huh?
Buy one, get one free. Inside that box are two of Britain's foremost domestic pro cyclists, Chris Opie and James Lowsley-Williams, fresh from the pro peloton, and they've already passed the initial GCN presenter application.
They have.
procedure. Yeah.
But there's one last stumbling block, potentially. And we thought we're better to give them their final grilling than here, in front of all of you, on the GCN Show.
Seems only fair.
Yeah, we've got three very simple questions. It's like sudden death, basically, isn't
Yeah.
it? I guess in order to do it, we will need to let them out of the box. You're good at unboxings, actually. Let them
Yeah.
out.
Stanley knife? Pizza cutter.
Yes.
Mind your fingers, lads. All right, guys. Did you bring the Haribo?
Well, we did actually.
Yes. Nice. Good work. Right.
Haribo.
Now, repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Excellent. Let's begin. Question number one. Have you ever won much during your pro careers?
No, not really.
No.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
the only
good news.
person allowed to have won much in their careers around here is Emma Pooley.
Yeah.
One tick gun. Next question then, question number 2. How is your bike handling?
Yeah, it's okay.
Really good. Really good.
14 Wiggins and they're down on the court.
Clearly, yeah. Now, last question, guys. Can you do science? I mean, like, can you do science?
No,
No,
not really.
I can't do science.
Don't do science.
Okay, actually, that's probably not quite fair. Hang on a minute. Same question. Can you do science?
Well, I feel like now I probably could do
I
science.
could do science.
You're in. Nice.
Nice.
Congratulations.
So
Yeah.
we've got 2 new presenters, Chris and James. Welcome on board. I'm sure you'll be very kind to them in the comments below. They will bring basically a fresh perspective, new blood to our videos, so to speak. Don't take that too deeply.
No, not literally.
But they'll be doing everything from being on the ground at the biggest races in the world to our how-to videos.
That's right. Now, I'm particularly interested, actually, to see the perspective that Chris brings, given that I believe he's the only GCN presenter to be able to sprint.
Oh,
So that's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out.
Well, you better get your glasses back if you want to see him. He'll be a long way ahead of you, so won't he?
Yeah.
Well, something that'd be more familiar to all of you back at home, though, is that, well, their bike handling skills and clipping in skills aren't so good.
More familiar.
You alright, Chris?
Chris? Coming.
No, seriously though, James, Chris, absolutely fantastic to have you on board. They are fresh from helping their team, Canyon Eisberg, win the overall competition at the Tour Series here in the UK, despite James's best efforts in that final round, as we've already seen. Should we see it again?
Yes, let's see it again.
No.
One more time.
Yeah, let's see it one more time.
Still in there. 14 Wiggins, and they're down on the court.
Now, this isn't your first actual thing for GCN yet, is it? You've been away already. Is that right?
Yeah, we spent last weekend in Alta Badia in the Dolomites, and we filmed some videos, amongst other things, on how to look more pro whilst on your bike.
Nice.
Yeah, and we also did 5 mistakes to probably avoid when riding a Sportive.
Nice. And James, you've not actually finished yet, right? Racing.
No, I've got 5 more races to get underway before I start full time here at GCN. So yeah.
Cool. We'll make sure you use them to freshen up, obviously, because the hard work is really going to start when you join us full time.
Also, a little bit of advice. Don't win any of those last 5 races, because if you do, this job opportunity will be closed, unfortunately, to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, well, since we've now got 2 either currently retired cyclists or soon to be retired cyclists next to us here now, we thought it was a good opportunity to follow on from last week's Ask GC Anything, where we discussed what pro cyclists do when they finish their careers. On Twitter, we had some interesting responses.
Yeah, so on the Inner Ring on Twitter said a wood sculptor, Joel Pellier,
Oh, nice.
a hermit, Charlie Gould, an ice cream maker, Paolo Fornacieri, a cowboy-themed restaurant, Lloyd Mondry, and is also the first cyclist to get a 4-year ban.
Yeah, true cowboy. Yeah.
And a medieval-themed gift store by Laurent Lefebvre.
Nice.
We've also had a contribution from journalist Daniel Freeb on Twitter, who says Dario Pieri runs a shooting range, Jean Cyril Robin bought a dry cleaners, Roberto Vicentini is an undertaker, and our favourite, Ricardo Rico, runs an ice cream parlour.
Wow.
Nice, yeah. We also actually had one comment particularly left under that video itself from Yoni Shaw, which said that Emma Pooley joined the circus with a bunch of clowns.
Yes, I saw that comment. Well, we've got 2 more people joining the circus, haven't we? Welcome to the circus.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome on board.
Cheers, chaps.
Cheers, mate.
Right now, the guys have just disappeared temporarily to go make us cups of tea.
Yeah, so we should get through cycling shorts by the time they've done that and washed our bikes for us as well, which is their next task. Right, first up in cycling shorts, and leading quite nicely on from the retirement theme. What do you do when you move on from being a doctor at Team Sky and British Cycling?
Well, that's a good question, Dan.
Well, you write a book, of course. That'd be plainly obvious. This is Dr. Richard Freeman, who is, of course, at the centre of the Jiffy Bag scandal at Team Sky, and who has remained resolutely silent on exactly what happened around and about that. Handily, his book, which tells all, you would presume, is going to come out just before the Tour de France.
I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer, though, Dan, till it ends up in charity shops, because I'm pretty sure he's going to be one of those authors that I don't really want to see profit from selling his story, so maybe a week or so after it's released. Anyway, have you ever wanted to buy an ex-team car?
I haven't, no. But this guy from Weight Weenies obviously did want to. He's over in Israel and he's purchased a Lotto Soudal car that was used there for the Grande Partenza, starting in Jerusalem.
Only 3 days worth of use, a bike rack for 8 bikes, only mildly ragged. I'd say that's quite a good deal.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he gets a lot of attention. It's got one of those klaxon horns on it, that gets even more attention.
I hope so, yeah.
Right, moving on, there is another major player who are flexing their muscles in the bike share scheme things here in Europe. This is Uber, who have announced their first ever ride share, and it's in Germany, to be precise. Now, it's fair to say that Uber's original business didn't go down all that well in a number of European countries, Germany in particular. And so this, they say, is as much about showing good intention, really, as anything else. And I guess it also helps that the bike looks pretty cool.
Well, I think that is important, for a bike share. There's these yellow bikes that are knocking around the city where I live, and I don't like the look of them one bit, and they're everywhere. But anyway, there you go. Public hire bikes. It's definitely a good thing in the long run. Anyway, from good intentions to bad now, and a story of a cyclist in jail. Yeah, that's right. Luboya Chisangu is currently serving 3.5 years in prison after it's found that he falsely claimed that he'd crashed in a pothole.
And what he was then trying to do was sue Cardiff City Council for the princely sum of £175,000. However, it was subsequently ascertained that the crash occurred about 1 kilometre from the pothole which he so carefully took pictures of after his crash.
We'll end cycling shorts with a particularly interesting piece of research that was recently published in the Human Kinetics Journal.
You've guessed it, one of our favourites.
Oh, absolutely. Now, it was a particularly interesting piece of research because it looked at whether or not you could improve your training by using heart rate variability to actually quantify training loads. Now, heart rate variability is a physiological phenomenon which measures the difference in time between heartbeats, and it can depend on lots of different factors, but fatigue is one of the big ones.
Yeah, they got some pretty striking results too, didn't they? Firstly, they noted an increase in peak power, but also an increase in performance over a 40-minute time trial, which is interesting. You wonder whether a training revolution could be on its way.
Well, yeah, because apparently measuring heart rate variation is actually quite simple. You need a compatible sensor, and then it's as straightforward as downloading an app for your phone. Imagine, mate, if we'd been measuring heart rate variation over the last few months on ourselves.
I dread to think. That would have been frightening with the stress we've been under here.
Oh, stress.
At least we're not having to clean our own bikes anymore anyway.
No. We get teas in it ready.
I hope so, I'm blooming thirsty. Time now for the GCN Wiggle of Fortune. One lucky contestant today will be in with a chance of winning one of 4 voucher amounts to spend on what they want over at the Wiggle online shops. Prize for £25. 2 lots of £25 the last 2 weeks, Si.
Really?
Whilst you've been away, yeah. So hopefully you'll get more this time. £50 is prize 3, then 75 for 2, and the big prize is £150.
And don't forget, Lloydie
Don't mention it.
also gets a chance to win a beer.
Who's competing? Who's the contestant?
It is Aaron Schmidt from Switzerland.
Good luck to you, Aaron. With no further ado, let's start. 3, 2, 1, and we are off. As Si did mention, there is a beer going.
There it goes.
And my chance to win.
Oh, you got no chance this week. Right, come on then, Aaron.
For Aaron. One's gone. 4, 3.
£50. Is it going to be 75? No, 50 quid.
It was obvious it wasn't going to be 75. I'd already turned round by that point, Si. Nevertheless, £50 to do with what you want with over on the Wiggle online shop. Make sure you get in touch with us. I'm stuttering all over the place. Make sure you get in touch with us, Aaron, and let us know what you do spend your £50 on.
Tech of the week now, and we're going to start with some news from our friends over at Wahoo. They've just released limited edition versions of their Element Bolt head unit, but in some new colours.
Yes, 2 new options available. As you can see, Si has got the yellow version just there.
We say yellow, Dan. I'd say that's somewhere between a lemon and a lime, probably.
It's yellow, Si. Anyway, that doesn't matter to me because I will be using the GCN colourway, which is this red one.
Ooh, that does look cool
That's
as well.
That's going to look good on my bike, that is.
To that, I'm going to stick with that one. I like that very much.
Well, happy days.
Anyway, as we said, they are very much limited edition, so if you do fancy one, you'll have to get in quick, apparently.
Yes, you will. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have spotted that there was some new tech on display at the recent Criterium de Dauphiné won by Geraint Thomas. The riders who are sponsored by Trek or Specialized, well, quite a lot of them were on new bikes, or so it seemed. Firstly, this one from Trek Segafredo riders looks to be a new Madon disc. It's pretty interesting. Also, Specialized riders, or at least some of them, look to be on a new version of the Venge, but also a disc.
Yeah, both of those bikes look amazing, but I've got to say, I'm a sucker for that Trek Team Red. I think that looks
How did you
absolutely
know
amazing.
it was a Trek?
I just got a funny feeling when I was looking at that down tube. Anyway, I do think it looks absolutely brilliant, as I said. And we all know, of course, that red bikes are faster. Although actually it doesn't matter what colour bike you've got when you have an e-bike. Oh yes, that's right, because Focus have just released their new Paralane Squared. Last year they teased us with their Project Y concept, and now it has hit the roads.
The battery and the motor are actually provided by fellow German brand Fatzua, and the motor itself is located in the bottom bracket. What that means is that there's an extra 3mm of space either side on each pedal, so a larger Q factor in effect. Now, in order not to have any reduction in shifting performance, what Focus have done is taken some mountain bike technology in the form of 148mm boost rear hub spacing.
Nice. Now, much like the colour, it's got said, if you've got an extra 400 watts at your disposal, probably not that fussed about shifting performance either, but the whole bike weighs just 13 kilos.
Yeah, it does, although it doesn't have to produce 400 watts or weigh 13 kilograms because you can remove the battery and the motor and reduce it down to 10.
I'll take 400 watts.
400 watts, 13 kilograms. Not having 400 watts, 10 kilograms. Yeah, I'm going to have the 400 watts too. I think we might as well change racing news this week to Lotto Soudal news. There's been a lot going on with the Belgian World Tour squad. First up, rumours have been spreading like wildfire that they could potentially be losing the services of their sprinter Andre Greipel. I mean, he's been with the team now for 8 years.
I can't believe that, 8 years. Now, apparently he wanted a two-year contract extension, but they were only willing to offer one, which is, I guess, what happens, when you're over 36.
I'm on a rolling 6-month contract here at GCN.
Ah, you see, I'm 34, so I've got a 2-year deal.
You joking?
No. Anyway, rumoured to be replacing Greipel at Lotto Soudal is pocket rocket Caleb Ewan, who would be leaving Littleton Scott, which you would have thought would make sense, given that that team is going to be increasingly focusing on the GC at the Grand Tours.
Very true. I do wonder then where Greipel will end up for the next year or two. I mean, Bora Hansgrohe, from the fact that they're a German sponsor, would make sense, but then they've already got Peter Sagan, who also takes up most of their budget each year. They've got Sam Bennett, who's going from strength to strength, and the up-and-coming Pascal Ackermann as well.
I can't imagine Greipel will struggle. Like, he's a solid rider, gets the results, and he's a lovely bloke and a team player. I'm sure he'll be fine.
I also wouldn't want to turn him down during negotiations, to be perfectly honest. He's a pretty big guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
One rider who will be in Lotto Soudal colours for the foreseeable future is Thomas de Gendt, because he said on Twitter that he's extended his contract with the team through to 2020.
Good vision from the team there. Now, one thing that Lotto Soudal did hit the news for last week was their use of speed gel in the team time trial at the Criterium de Dauphiné. So as the rain came down, white spots began to be visible on some of the riders' legs, prompting the UCI to investigate a possible violation of their rules.
I've heard of jelly legs. That's next level, isn't it? I wonder if you can use it on your hair. Might give that a go.
Yeah, Alpecin, probably better for speed, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so we finish our final bit of Lotto Soudal news now, because they have got a new name and new kit for the upcoming Tour de France.
Oh yeah? What is it?
New Lotto Soudal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
That's the name of the new team, New Lotto Soudal.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder where the inspiration for that one came from.
Well, apparently it's because they've revamped the national lottery in Belgium, and so you now have twice the chance to win. Keeping their name but changing their kit are Canyon SRAM's women's team for the upcoming OVO Women's Tour, which starts on Wednesday. The design is inspired by the Rafa Women's 100, which aims to get as many women from around the globe onto bikes doing 100 kilometres on the same day. This year, that is on the 15th of September.
Yeah, I like that kit, you know. I mean, I love their normal kit, but that one is pretty cool too.
It's nice, yeah.
Right, sticking with the women's tour, it seems that Annette Edmondson has been taking her training for the UK-based race very seriously indeed. She knows exactly what is required to prepare for UK weather.
You're not going to believe this, but the forecast actually looks all right.
Yeah, only raining for 4 days out of 5, so bonus.
Yeah, so it might be that technique in crossing rivers doesn't play a factor in the final GC outcome of the race.
No, not this year.
No. Incidentally, Emma is currently, as we speak, en route to the OVO Women's Tour, so stay tuned to GCN for the cool content that she'll be bringing you.
Yeah, right, now transfer rumour mill is in full swing, which is excellent because we always like talking about
rumours.
Baseless rumours, yeah. Anyway, it seems like Bahrain Merida are intent on strengthening their roster for 2019. Rowan Dennis, Phil Bauhaus and Mike Turnison have all been linked to the squad for next year.
Blimey, they should rename themselves to New Bahrain Merida, I think.
Why is that?
Well, with those riders, twice the chance to win. It is time now for Hack /Bodge of the Week. Let's check that, it's quite hot in this room. First up today, this came in from Anna Isabel Schwartz on Twitter.
Wow.
Yes, we've got to take the bull by the horns of that bike.
Hey, straight out of Lloyd Mondery's cowboy-themed restaurant, I think.
Yeah.
More dangerous than a bike with disc brakes down. Look at that back wheel.
Yeah. Well, it's not a hack or a bodge, is it? You can't ride that.
It's a piece of art. Yeah, nice.
Next up this side.
This is from Nick Samuels. He said, well, it's only 1 month to go until the tour and you need to finish all your essential home improvements. Look at that. King of the Mountains door. Cool.
Do you think his bedrooms are yellow and green and white? Well, I've got the white one at home, let's face it. I've got one Tour de France themed door in my house.
Oh,
It's
nice.
white.
I like it. He's looking cool though. Nice work.
Yeah.
Looking suave.
Luciano Serafino. As my newborn gets older, child safety is #1. Here I'm using an old tube around the sharp edges of this coffee table. Cut off the valve for a cleaner look. Who knew old tubes could prevent things like this?
That looks pretty neat. That does,
I think
doesn't
that
it?
looks good as well. Has he not actually? He hasn't actually. No, he hasn't cut the inner. I see what he's saying there now. He's not cut the valve off yet. It's still there in the centre of the table.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe cut the valve off for a neater look.
Yeah, there we go. Right, Blair Cartmel. That's a hack.
Yes.
a hack,
Once he's hacked the valve off, it's a hack.
There's so many sharp corners there. I'm just thinking, yeah, a bit nightmare.
It's a lot of inner tubes.
Yeah, right, Blair Cartmel. Thoughts on this race nutrition? It was a hot day. I spotted this at a race at the weekend.
Doesn't get more simple than that, does it?
No.
Bit of malt loaf, just taped on.
Tasty though.
Yeah.
Is that
Well,
like?
I mean, it's easy access.
Is it one of those a chocolate bar?
It is Mars bar, isn't it?
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I'm all in for that. That sounds great.
But still a bodge though, surely. Bodge.
Wow, the alternative surely is a top tube bag, which, as we all know, pretty unacceptable in all.
People are fine doing what they want. So. I had
Sorry,
a rant
yeah.
last week and asked GCN anything. Anyway,
You
Stephen,
did?
yes, wear whatever kit you want.
Well, yeah,
Got
but
really into it.
top tube bags.
Yeah,
Come
that's
on, mate.
part of your kit. Don't let's fall out here, Si, because there's 2 new presenters that could replace us just downstairs cleaning our bikes.
Yeah.
Next up, Stephen W. The plastic striker snapped off my bicycle bell, so I 3D printed a new one, complete with an adjustable screw for the optimal bell performance.
That is pretty neat. I mean, and it's also a great commitment to
To your bell.
sustainability. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what can you say? That looks neat. It looks slimline. Assuming it's effective. Congratulations there. Glad you've got a lot of time on your hands.
Let's move very quickly on. Sinan Kargi. If you try...
What are you laughing at, Dan? I don't understand.
Give me 2 secs.
Seriously, mate, I don't get it.
If you drill a hollow
Dan, can you
tech
explain?
key and put a carbon rod through with rubber foot, you will get a photo stand for your bike on the non-driver's side. Right, come on.
What is it, mate? I don't understand.
I'm holding it together. Right, that's we can actually do that on some of our shoots at the Grand Tours because we, with some top pros bikes, have in the past just used a stick.
That does look super neat, doesn't it?
Yeah, not as
Very
neat as this
cool
next one
indeed.
though. Oh no, we've got one more between.
I've realised, this is Gianni Madrid, I've realised that whenever I'm bored I tend to do something silly or creative, in this case both. I mounted my worn out boas from his S-Works shoes to his Nike shoes. Well, fair enough.
Hack. That looks good.
It does look quite good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bit of cycling themed tech in your
I
leisure wear.
could have done with them for my 7-year-old when he was 5. It took him ages to get laces. Finally, Dean does stuff. Well, he most certainly does. He's 3D printed a bike stand, and that is a definite hack. Look how neat that thing is.
That does look cool, actually. Yeah, that's a definite hack, isn't it?
Yeah, feel free to send one of those over. I want one of them.
Right, now that is all we've got time for on Hacklebodge this week. So Dan, perhaps you could just explain what was it, mate, you were laughing at about that guy's bell?
Next up, Caption Competition, your weekly chance to win a GCN Camelback water bottle. Quick reminder of last week's photo. It's this one of Emma Pooley over in Alta Badia.
Yeah, we got a winner, Dan. It took a long time to sift through some amazing responses this week, but you ready?
Yep.
J. Coe said, caption, Emma's mum, don't worry, dear, you'll grow into it.
I'm not sure she will.
No.
Any of us are growing to that. It's
No.
humongous when you're
That
next
is
to it.
one of the nice things about getting older, though, isn't it? That you never have to buy anything that you're going to grow into.
No, well, you should start shrinking, don't you?
Oh, man, yeah, good point.
Get in touch with us, Jay, on Facebook with a message and your address, and we'll get this sent straight to you. This week's photo for you to get your teeth stuck into is this one of Geraint Thomas with his lion and a St. Bernard dog. Si is going to get you started this week.
Oh, boy. The new podium hosts at the Criterium de Dauphiné gave Geraint Thomas pause for thought. I wonder whether Chris or James are good at captions.
Not as good as you, mate.
No, maybe not. If you think you can beat that, I suggest you probably can, then obviously you need to stick your caption in the comment section down below. We will read through them and then pick a winner. Standard is usually better than that.
It's almost time to tell you what's coming up on GCN over the next 7 days. Firstly though, 3 of our favourite comments from the last 7 days, starting with this one underneath last week's GCN show, which came in from Emilio Aldenzio. I'm only allowed to watch GCN before we go to sleep. My girlfriend can't fall asleep without listening to the show. She thinks Simon's voice is soothing. Don't take that as a compliment, Si. You basically send her to sleep.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to take it as a compliment, but yeah. Well, you know, at least I perform some kind of service, I guess, even if it's putting someone to sleep.
Do you want to shout the rest of this? Wake up!
Yeah. Do we get her name?
No.
No, we don't. Emilio's girlfriend! Hello! You nearly the show's nearly done now. You can nearly get to sleep. Right, Eric Coombs. Great show, GCN. While I don't need permission from my spouse to watch your show, I probably should get approval from my boss. Yeah, and it was a long show last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, sorry about that. There were a few comments actually along those lines. Seems like plenty of you watch the GCN show in your work time. Fair play.
Great idea.
Underneath how to turn a road bike into a gravel bike, Medical Cannabis Spain said, in my day, we used to call a gravel bike a bike. Good point. Soon I will need to buy a tarmac bike, a concrete bike, a sand bike, dirt bike, asphalt bike, and a grass bike.
I agree with that, but you know what? The big problem with gravel bikes is that they're called gravel bikes. The bike itself is a great bike that can do everything. It's just that it's got such a rubbish name that everyone makes comments like that because it just sounds like it's just a kind of, you know, marketing ploy, when actually it should probably be the bike to end all bikes.
It's like a mountain bike doesn't just need to be used on a mountain.
Exactly. Do you remember that back in the day? Your mum and dad would be like, "Oh, you're not using it on mountains. Why is it called a mountain bike?"
Well, there was also an all-terrain bike at one point.
ATB, yeah, that was the original.
Better description, isn't it?
Than a gravel bike, absolutely. That's
anyway,
all-terrain.
It's going to be another 36 minutes at this rate, so I should we carry on with what's
wax
on the
lyrical
channel.
about the old days of mountain biking, Dan.
Coming up this week on Wednesday, Emma is showing you how to climb comfortably, which I could do with some advice with myself at the moment.
Yeah, Emma can tell us that.
On Thursday, it's the top 10 hardest climbs in the world. And Friday, we're back with another edition of Ask GC Anything.
Yeah, Saturday, Emma is showing us how to make carrot cake porridge, which does sound pretty good, doesn't it? Then on Sunday, Emma reveals possibly the greatest upgrade you can make to your bike if speed is your priority. So yeah, make sure you definitely check them out. The results are pretty striking. They took Emma by surprise and us by surprise as well. And then Monday, of course, catch up with Dan and the GCN Racing News Show. And Tuesday, we're right back here for the GCN Show.
Why does it have tea, by the way?
I don't know, it's probably going to have gone cold by now, isn't it?
Stewed.
We are getting towards the end of the GCN show now, but of course there is still time for Extreme Corner, and this week it's our friend Chris Ackrig. I say our friend, he's kind of more Martin Ashton's friend, but we like to pretend he's our friend too. Anyway, here is a great edit that was filmed for his sponsor Mongoose. It's called Free Trials. Whoa!
Them's a proper skills.
Crazy skills. Right, that is all we've got time for this week's GCN show, unfortunately. Before we do leave you, a quick reminder to head over to the GCN shop. Last week, I believe, Dan and Tom talked about the new GCN fan kit in the black and white colourway, which is very cool, and indeed, the matching shorts with the black leg grippers on there. They're selling fast, but don't forget, there is a deal. If you buy both of them, you get 10% off, which is pretty cool, isn't it?
They are selling really well, so thanks very much indeed
Yeah.
for your support on that. It's very much appreciated from all of us here. All right, well, that pretty much is the end of the show now. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty thirsty still.
I am really thirsty.
Finally, here to come with the tea.
Thank you very much.
There's a queue at the kettle.
Sorry,
There's
guys.
not a lot we could do.
Oh,
What
that's
use
all
that?
right, thanks,
2
mate.
empty bloody mugs?
Hey, you didn't get me a cup of tea, guys. Come on, what kind of a service is this? Junior presenters make tea for the senior presenters.
Yeah.
They were locking up.
Yeah.
Come on, guys,
Now
back
I've got
upstairs.
underlings below me. I want a cup of tea as well.
We've got work to do in the hierarchy of the
We
presenters in
do,
this
yeah.
place. that's
Just because
for
I'm
sure.
shorter doesn't mean I don't get a cup of tea.
Right, well, we've got one more video that we think you should watch right now. Our friend Catherine, who works upstairs in the office, was out in Kansas recently doing the Dirty Kansas, and this was her video diary, which is fantastic. Make sure you watch it.
I think the tea bag was left in a bit long for this one, guys. just for future ref, it's like a little bit of tea bag soakage, and then
Don't get a squeeze.
plenty of milk.
I take lots of milk, by the way. No sugar.
Noted.
Thank you.